Okay. Around 1800, scientists experiment like this. This is ammonia and cobalt chloride. They are trying to experiment with reacting ammonia with cobalt chloride. And they found that the ammonia react with cobalt chloride, and they found that precipitate forms. Today, this reaction is normal, but at that time, this reaction is very, very strange, because around this time, organic chemistry was a dominant chemistry field, and through the organic chemistry, they developed a concept of valency. According to the concept of valency, each element has a fixed number of hands or bonds it could form. For example, oxygen, carbon has valency of 4. So carbon can only form a 4 bond. For example, methane. Carbon only can make a 4 bond. And valency of oxygen equal to, oxygen can only form a 2 bond. Similarly, valency of nitrogen is 3, because nitrogen can only form 3 bond. And valency of cobalt is known 3. It only forms 3 bonds. From this perspective, this reaction is very, very strange, because ammonia used up all the valency. It already formed 3 bonds. And cobalt used up all the valence. It already formed 3 bonds. So cobalt and ammonia doesn't have any bond, cannot make any bonds, because they used up all the valency. But the reaction occurs, and something happens, or some form of chemical bond forms. So they try to analyze what is this. So they carried out elemental analysis. What's the formula of this compound? And their result is this. This is their result. And this one can be really written like this. Here, pay attention to this one, dot. Here, dot does not mean covalent bond. This formula does not mean that cobalt chloride make a bond with NH3. This is a dot. This means that these two molecules are loosely associated, not chemical bond. This is similar to this one. When you apply a little bit of heat, this molecule are drifted away. This is loosely associated, not a chemical bond. Similar situation can apply to this molecule. This is loosely associated. This is their suggestion. So, chemists try to test their proposal. So, they experiment with HCl. They test the ammonia really outside of cobalt chloride. They are really associated to test. So they try to experiment with HCl, and they expect that this is acid, this is a base. So if ammonia is really outside cobalt chloride, two acid-base reaction occurs rigorously. But to their surprise, no reaction occurs. It means that ammonia is not loosely associated. Actually, this is tightly bounded to cobalt. So they tried another experiment. They turned their attention to chloride. So they used silver nitride. So they expect that silver may react with chloride, and silver chloride may precipitate forms. Actually, AgCl precipitates, and exactly 3 moles of AgCl precipitate. This is an experiment. So this experiment confirms that ammonia are tightly bound to cobalt, and chloride is outside the molecule. So they revised chemical formula. This is wrong formula. They revised chemical formula like this. So in this formula, chloride is outside the molecule, and ammonia is tightly bound to cobalt. So this is their suggestions. And they perform another additional experiment. They experiment electrical conductivity. They dissolve this molecule into water and measure the electrical conductivity. And they compare the electrical conductivity of another molecule. And they found that the electrical conductivity of these two compounds is almost same. How? Why? When these molecules are dissolved, they are dissociated into aluminum 3 plus 3 NO3 minus. These species conduct electricity. Similarly, when these molecules are dissolved, it dissociates into the similar situation occurs. When these two molecules are dissociated, 1 mole of 3 plus cation and 3 moles of minus 1 anion dissolves. Similarly, in this molecule, 1 mole of 3 plus aluminum ion dissociate and 3 moles of minus 1 NO3 minus dissociate. So these two compounds shows similar electrical conductivity. So they confirm that this formula generally the chemical formula of the compound. Now, so this is the newly developed compound. So this one is called coordination complex. Coordination complex are composed of 2 parts. This one and this one. This one is called ligand. And this one is called central metal ion. And cobalt are bonded by 6 ligands. So coordination number equals 6. And the oxidation number of cobalt is what? Overall charge of this molecule is 3 plus, and the charge of ligand is 0. Ammonia is a neutral molecule, so the oxidation number of cobalt is 3 plus. So this is the ligand, this is central metal ion. the coordination number of 6, the oxidation number of central metal ion is plus 3. And especially, this one is important. In the coordination complex, oxidation number of central metal ion is very, very important because the number of d electrons in the d orbitals, number of electrons on d orbital is very, very, very important. The physical property and chemical properties of coordination complex depends on n, which is the number of electrons on the d orbital, and the number of electrons on d orbital depends on the oxidation number of cobalt ion, central metal ion. And to determine the oxidation number, you must know the charge of the ligand. So you must know the charge of ligand. It is very important. And in your textbook, you will see a list of ligands, commonly used ligands, such as H2O, chloride, and carbon monoxide, NO2-. This is a list of ligands. There is one thing in common for this ligand. All the ligands have lone pairs. In coordination chemistry, ligand, all of them have lone pairs. In coordination chemistry, metal assumes positive charge. Ligand has lone pairs. Okay, so in coordination chemistry, reaction occurs between metal and ligand. Ligand try to donate electrons. So ligand usually behaves like a base, Lewis base. They try to donate their electrons to metal to form a coordinated bond. And metal are ready to accept electrons, so they behave acid. So in coordinated chemistry, metal behaves as a acid, ligand behaves as a base. Okay? And there's a special kind of ligand is here. The ligand is called bidentate ligand. Bi means two. Typical example of bidentate ligand is ethylene diamine. This is called ethylene diamine. This one has two lone pairs. So this one can make a bond with central metal ion two times at the same time. So this ligand is called bidentate ligand. This one has make up two bond with one metal bond. So this bond is ligand is called bidentate ligand. So this one is the symbol for ethylene diamine is En. And furthermore, the charge of this ethylene diamine is neutral. Okay, so tricky example of coordination complex looks like this. The ethylene diamine means this bidentate ligand. Then the first question is, what is the coordination number of cobalt? Even though you see the number 3, the coordination number of cobalt is not 3, 6, because this is a bidentate ligand. It can make a 2 bond with metal. So coordination number is 6. And what is the oxidation number of cobalt? Overall charge of this molecule is 3 plus. And the charge of ethylene diamine is 0. Neutral. So coordination, oxidation number of cobalt is plus 3. Okay. The question is, what is the oxidation number of cobalt? This is the question. Now, in this molecule are composed of 2 parts. This is cation, this is anion. The oxidation number of this one is plus 1. So, this complex charge is minus 1, right? Now, the ligand, two kinds of ligand. Ammonia is neutral. HCN, the electrical charge of CN is minus 1. But we have 4 ligands, so overall charge is minus 4. So the oxidation number of cobalt must be plus 3 because overall charge of this anion is minus 1. So oxidation number of cobalt is plus 3. And one more. What is the oxidation number of osmium? Now, this is neutral molecule. So overall charge is 0. And the ligand is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a neutral molecule. So oxidation number of osmium is 0. Right? And I'm gonna skip the naming of the inorganic chemistry. Okay, so now. 없어? 한잔 남은 거고
남은 게
한잔은 아직 없어. So this is the chemical formula. Once chemical formula is determined, the next step is to what is the molecular shape of this compound. Nowadays we use NMR, X-ray, or IR, or Raman, blah 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 blah, to determine the molecular shape nowadays. But this compound was found around 1800. So around this year, there are no such tools like NMR or X-ray. So even though they don't have this spectroscopic tools, they found that the molecular structure of this compound is octahedral. Even though they don't have spectroscopic tools. how they found their geometrical structure. They determine their structure through counting isomers, counting number of isomers. I'm going to talk about how do they determine the molecular structure through counting the isomers. Now, the general formula for this compound is MX6. M is the central metal ion, X is the ligand, this is the coordination number. Before we talking about coordination number 6 compound, I'm going to talk about coordination number 4. Now, I'm going to determine the molecular structure of this compound. Molecular formula looks like this. In first step, I'm going to imagine what structure is possible for the coordination number 4. We can imagine two structures. First one is square planar. Square planar can have molecular formula like this. And second structure is tetrahedral. So given the molecular formula, we can imagine two geometrical structure, and now 2x is replaced by y. So mx2 y2. Now I'm going to count the number of isomers. If the molecule assumes this square planar structure, given the molecular formula, how many isomers is possible for the square planar? That is the question. The answer is 2. Why? For given molecular formula, if the molecule assumes square planar structure, we can draw two isomers. This one and so two isomers is possible. If the molecule assumes square planar structure. But what happens when this molecule is tetrahedral structure? Surprisingly, only one isomer is possible. Okay. Even though y is, for example, this one is actually same as this one. When you rotate this molecule, this one is exactly identical. So this one is the same molecule. So actually, for this formula, only one isomer is possible for tetrahedral structure. But this formula has square planar structure, two isomers is possible. So when you count the number of isomers, you can differentiate which structure is right. So this is the coordination number 4 structure. Now let's move on the coordination number 6 case, our case. Our case is coordination number 6. And in first step, I'm going to imagine what structure is possible for coordination number 6. We can imagine 3 structures. First one is hexagonal structure. And second structure is trigonal biprism. Triangle upper plane, triangle lower plane. This is a biprism. metal is in the center. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. trigonal bipyramidal structure also corresponds to its molecular formula. And third, octahedral structure. And I'm going to replace 2x by y. So molecular formula mx4 y2. And I'm going to count the number of possible isomers for hexagonal. How many isomers is possible for the hexagonal structure? 3 isomers is possible. Why? Ortho position, beta position, para position. So for the hexagonal structure, 3 isomers is possible. And let's move on to trigonal bipyramism. For the trigonal bipyramism, you can see the handout. We can draw 3 isomer is also possible for this structure. And finally, for octahedral structure, this isomer is possible, and this isomer is possible. Only 2 isomers is possible for the octahedral structure. So, to conclusion, for given formula mx4 y2, for given formula, for the geometrical structure, the number of possible isomers is different. For octahedral structure, only 2 isomers is possible. But for hexagonal structure or trigonal bipyramism structure, 3 isomers is possible. According to experimental observation, they found that only 2 isomers was found. It means that this molecule assumes octahedral structure because they found only 2 isomers found. So similarly, when the molecular formula is mx3 y3, you can also count the number of possible isomers. It is also 3 isomers, and 2 isomers. So according to experimental observation, so similarly, they found only 2 isomers. So in this way, they conclude that this coordination number compound takes octahedral complex. So in this way, they conclude that the octahedral complex is possible structure for coordination number 6 molecular structure. Okay. Now newly found compound chemical formula was found. Chemical formula was determined and the molecular structure was found. What is next step? Next step is that what is the electronic structure of this compound? This is the next step. To explain the electronic structure of this compound, there are 3 theories are developed in our textbook. 3 theories are introduced in our textbook. Third one is molecular orbital theory. Most advanced theory. We are going to talk about molecular orbital theory at the end of the chapter. And first one is called crystal field theory. second one is valence bond theory. Three theories are used to explain the electronic structure of the coordination complex. So today we are going to talk about crystal field theory. Using crystal field theory, I'm going to explain this experimental observation. You remember? Y-axis represents the hydration enthalpy. When you draw the hydration enthalpy, according to the theoretical prediction, it shows a monotonic decrease. This is the theoretical prediction, but according to experimental observation, the form W-shaped. This is experimental observation. So it means that there is an additional stabilization effect exists. And this point corresponds to mangan 2 plus zinc 2 plus. So we are going to explain how to explain additional stabilization effect and why the additional stabilization effect disappears for mangan 2 plus and zinc 2 plus. And furthermore, these two complexes are colorless. Most transition metal, once coordination complex form, shows colorful, but mangan 2 plus and zinc 2 plus are colorless. Why two complexes are colorless? We are going to explain 3 points. How to explain additional stabilization effect. Why additional stabilization effect disappears for mangan 2 plus and zinc 2 plus. Why they don't show color, why they are colorless. I'm going to explain these 3 points using crystal field theory. Now, this is the energy level of d orbital. In isolated gas state, this is the energy level of d orbital, isolated gas state. But when the ligand approaches central metal ion and make a coordinated complex, it forms this compound. Ligand. It's a coordinate complex. The energy level change. It looks like this. This is the final state. This is initial state where metal ions are isolated. This is the electronic energy level of this complex. This is initial state. This is the final state. The final state energy level is lower, so complex forms. So I'm going to explain how energy level change from initial state to final state in 4 steps. So in your text handout, 4 steps appears. So this is the first step. This is the initial state in which metal is in gaseous state. Now this is a metal. This is a ligand. Ligand approaches metal to make a bond, right? Then energy level changes. But there are interactions between metal and ligand. There are 2 kinds of interaction: repulsion and attraction. Attraction is obvious because there's a bond between metal and ligand. There's a bond. This is bond. This is a chemical bond. So there's obvious there is an attraction. Then how repulsion exists between metal and ligand? As I said before, all the ligand has lone pair and metal has electrons and d orbitals. Metal has electrons in d orbitals, and ligand also has electrons in lone pair. Electrons and d orbital, electrons and lone pair repulsive each other. So this is the repulsive force. But at the same time, they are attractive interaction. They make a bond. So there are two kinds of interaction between metal and ligand. Okay. So in first step, I'm going to consider repulsion. In second step, I'm going to consider attraction. So in first, I'm going to focus on repulsive interaction. So this is the metal, and water molecule approaches metal. This is ligand. Ligand approaches metal to make a bond to the metal in symmetrically, then due to the repulsion between ligand and metal, orbital energy level increase due to the repulsive interaction. So this is the energy level of D. But degeneracy remains the same because now the ligand approaches symmetrically, so degeneracy remains same. Now attraction. Now it's time to operate attraction. The ligand and metal make a bond. Ligand has electrons to donate. The chemical bond forms between metal and ligand through donation of lone pair through the metal. So chemical bond forms. This is attractive interaction. So the energy level lowered. Okay. So the energy level lowered. This is schematic application. So this is the initial state energy level. This is the final state energy level. So energy stabilized like this, okay? But this one may be lowered or upward, depend on the size of this metal ion. As I said before, initial prediction is like this. On the left, metal size is large. On the right, metal gets smaller. So in this case, water molecule get closer. This is water molecule. This is a water molecule. R. When you go from left to right, water molecule get closer to the metal ion. So there are strong interaction. Then in this case, this energy level lowered. So this energy get lowered. So this one corresponds to this one. For this case, this one go upward. So this gap corresponds to this one. So this one corresponds to this one. This gap depends on the size of the metal ion. Okay. But according to actual experiment, the hydration curve does not correspond to this one. Its shape is W. We should explain additional stabilization occurs. How do we explain this additional stabilization? This is the key point. When I explain this level, this level corresponds to this situation in which ligand approaches metal ion in a spherically symmetry. But as I said before, actually ligand is in a octahedral arrangement, not a spherical arrangement. Okay, this is different. In this situation, ligand approach spherically, but actually ligand arranged in octahedrically. This arrangement is different, but this energy level corresponds to this situation. So sum of water molecule must be removed to form octahedral complex. This is our real molecule. So when sum of molecule are removed, the energy level change. This is the key point. When water molecule approaches spherically, 5d orbital degenerate. But sum of molecule, water molecule, removed and forms a octahedral complex, the energy level 5d orbital split into two groups. This is a key point. The low level is called T2G, upper level is called EG. This is the key point of CFT. Why d orbital level split? Because the arrangement is octahedral. If the water molecules are arranged in spherically, splitting does not occur. But actually, water molecule arranged in octahedrically, splitting occurs. Okay. The upper level corresponds to dg square orbital, dx square minus square orbital. So this one is also T2g orbital, EG orbital. So this is our final state. Okay. So as I said before, actual curve is this one. We need to explain additional stabilization. How do you explain this one? Actually, this point corresponds to this one. Initially, electron is in the gaseous state here. But now, when the coordination complex are formed, energy level is not here. Here. This is the additional stabilization. Without this splitting, this level corresponds to this level. But due to this splitting, the electron not in this state. The electron goes to this state. So additional stabilization occurs. This one corresponds to this one. Okay. Without octahedral arrangement, the energy level must be here. But due to the splitting, electron stabilized further. This one corresponds to this one. Now how about when two electrons are d orbital? And second electron goes to this orbital, right? Then additional stabilization occurs. So, in this case, this is the first electron, this is the second electron. 2 times more stabilized. Understand? 2 times stabilized. How about third electron? Third electron goes to this orbital. 3 times stabilized. 1, 2, 3. Maximally stabilized. Now, fourth electron. In the gaseous state, electrons are here. What happens to this here? Fourth electron tries to enter this orbital, but in this case, another electron is already occupied. So this electron feels repulsive energy. So instead of enter this already occupied orbital, the electron choose to enter easy orbital. Even though the energy level a little bit high, it choose to enter empty d orbital because it lowers the overall energy. Because when first electron goes to T2g orbital, it feels strong repulsive interaction. Instead of feel strong repulsive interaction, it chooses to go to empty easy orbital. Okay, so this is the electron configuration for the complex. But what happens now? In this case, energy is destabilized, right? So in this case, energy increase, stabilization effect diminished. Now what happens? Fifth electron goes to here, right? So in this case, stabilization effect perfectly cancelled destabilization effect. So it goes to original position. This is a configuration D5. This corresponds to mangan 2 plus. Now, how about 6 electron? Now 6 electron have no choice but to go to this orbital. So now stabilized again. 7 electron stabilized again. 8 electron stabilized further. And 9 electron now destabilized. Go up. And 10 electron, all the orbitals are filled. So return back original position. This corresponds to D10. This one is called zinc 2 plus. Okay, now color. As I said before, when the transition metal make a complex, it shows color. When the electrons and T orbital observe visible light, it make a transition to easy orbital. So energy gap corresponds to visible light. So it is colorful. Okay. There.